Good afternoon, dear viewers. It's exactly 3 p.m. Cairo local time. You tuned into Channel 2 and Night TV International. This is Reem Tamer welcoming you into this English news bulletin, and we start right away with the headlines. A truce with Hamas begins in Gaza nearly 3 hours after initially scheduled. Rafah crossing border witnesses the entry of 108 trucks through Karma Abu Salim border crossing. And Trump holds victory rally in Washington ahead of inauguration. The Israelis on Sunday said a truce with Hamas began in Gaza at 9:15 GMT, nearly 3 hours after initially scheduled, following a last-minute delay due to an Israeli request for the names of Israeli detainees to be released first. A statement from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office, issued less than an hour before the truce had been set to start at 8:30 a.m., said he had instructed that the ceasefire will not begin until Israelis have received the list of those be freed. Hamas attributed to the delay to technical reasons, as well as the complexities of the field situation and the continued bombing. Ultimately published at around 10:30 a.m. the names of 3 Israeli women to be released on Sunday. The Israelis confirmed they had received the list of a total of 33 Israeli detainees taken by Hamas during its reprisal October the 7th, 2023 attack on Israeli occupation enclaves will be returned from Gaza during an initial 42-day truce. Under the deal, hundreds of Palestinian detainees will be released from Israeli jails. Israel received a list of hostages in Gaza to be released on Sunday, and Israeli security personnel were checking the details. The Prime Minister's office said. It also said it had begun notifying families of hostages to be released via representatives of the Israeli military. Hamas named the 3 Israeli female hostages to be freed in Gaza on Sunday as Rami Gonen, Doron Steinbrecher, and Emily Damari. According to a statement by the Palestinian militant group, Israel has not yet released the names of the 3 hostages. Hardline Israeli National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir and 2 other ministers from his nationalist religious party have resigned from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's cabinet over the Gaza ceasefire deal, their party said on Sunday. The Otzma Yehudit party is no longer part of the ruling coalition, but has said it will not try to bring down Netanyahu's government. Israeli warplanes and artillery attacked the northern Gaza Strip on Sunday, and Palestinian medics said 8 people were killed shortly after Israel and Hamas missed the deadline for a ceasefire that could pave the way for halting the Middle East's most devastating conflict in years. Israel's response decimated the Gaza Strip, killing nearly 47,000 Palestinians, according to Gaza-based health authorities. Israeli military spokesperson said in separate statements that their aircraft and artillery had attacked terror targets in northern and central Gaza, and that the military would continue to attack the Strip as long as Hamas did not meet its obligations under the ceasefire. Israeli forces started withdrawing from areas in Gaza's Rafah to the Philadelphia corridor along the border between Egypt and Gaza, pro-Hamas media reported early today. However, in Gaza, security bodies and the Ministry of Interior started to deploy in the Strip as the ceasefire agreement starts to be implemented. Also, the Israeli media announced that occupation troops will stop its aerial activity to facilitate the transfer of hostages. Rafah crossing border witnesses the entry of 100 aid trucks through Karm Abu Salim border crossing. Hundreds of humanitarian aid trucks carrying food, medical and cleanliness supplies, as well as clothing, in addition to ambulances, arrived at Rafah crossing. According to the ceasefire deal between Israeli occupation forces and Hamas, with Egyptian, Qatari and US mediation, the number of the humanitarian aid to Gaza will be increased to reach 600 trucks on a daily basis. Yemen's Houthi group claimed an attack on an American aircraft carrier on Sunday and warned of consequences for any retaliation during the coming Gaza ceasefire. Houthi group asserted that they will confront any aggression with specific military operations against those forces without ceiling or red lines. The Houthis, who have attacked shipping in the Red Sea throughout the war in Gaza, said they targeted the USS Harry S. Truman and other warships with drones and cruise missiles. On Friday, the Yemeni rebels warned they would keep up their attacks if Israel did not respect the terms of the ceasefire with Hamas. Lebanon's new president said on Saturday that Israel must withdraw from his country's south by the January 26th deadline set to fully implement an Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire agreed last year. His remarks follow a speech by Hezbollah leader Naim Qassem, who accused Israel of hundreds of ceasefire violations, warning it against testing the Lebanese people's patience and calling on the Lebanese state to be firm in its response. President Joseph Aoun told visiting United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres that it was necessary for Israeli forces to withdraw from occupied territories in the south within the deadline set by the agreement reached on November 27th. Under the November 27th ceasefire deal, the Lebanese army has 60 days to deploy alongside peacekeepers from the UNIFIL mission in South Lebanon as the Israeli army withdraws. At the same time, Hezbollah is required to pull its forces north of the Litani River around 30 kilometers from the border. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump arrived in the Washington area for a celebration of his return to power ahead of an inauguration ceremony that has been upended by record cold temperatures. Trump flew abroad on Air Force plane sent by outgoing President Joe Biden to the Republicans' base in Palm Beach, Florida, where Trump prepared his transition after winning the November 5th election over Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris. Trump is due to hold a rally with supporters inside the Capitol One Arena in downtown Washington on Sunday, the eve of his inauguration, as well as a post-inauguration event Monday afternoon. Frigid weather forecast for Monday prompted Trump to move the inauguration ceremonies from the iconic west front of the U.S. Capitol building indoors to the Capitol Rotunda and the parade down Pennsylvania Avenue to the Capitol One Arena. Supporters of South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol stormed the Seoul court Sunday after a judge extended the impeached leader's detention over his ill-fated attempt to impose martial law. Tens of thousands of people had gathered outside the Seoul Western District Court in a show of support for Yoon, who became South Korea's first sitting head of state to be arrested in a down raid this week. After the court extended his detention, the president's supporters smashed windows and doors as they rushed inside the building. Hundreds of police officers charged into the court, with the force arresting dozens and denouncing an intolerable, illegal and violent incident. The incident is the latest episode in South Korea's spiraling political crisis since December the 3rd. Moving to the world of business and finance, Egypt's bourse inched higher at midday transactions today, boosted by local investor purchases against Arab and foreign investor sell-offs. The market capital of listed companies added 9 billion Egyptian pounds, so far exceeding 2.2 trillion pounds. The benchmark index EGX 30 rose 0.8% above the 29,820-point mark. The equal-weighted indices, EGX 70 and EGX 100, both surged 1.3%. The U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has said that her department will start taking extraordinary measures in the upcoming days to avoid risking a default on government debt, days before U.S. President-elect Donald Trump takes office. Yellen said in a letter to congressional leaders that the department would start making the moves on Tuesday, with the government reaching its borrowing limit. For now, she noted that the Treasury would hold off investments in the Civil Service Retirement and Disability Fund, not immediately required to pay beneficiaries. Moving to the world of sports, as title holders Al-Ahli of Egypt surrendered a 20-match unbeaten home record in the CAF Champions stoppage time to earn Liverpool a 2-0 win at Brentford and a 6-point Premier League lead over Arsenal, who blew a 2-goal lead to draw 2-2 against Aston Villa. Liverpool looked set to drop points for the third consecutive league game until the much-maligned Uruguayan doubled off his tally of Premier League goals for the season in the dying seconds in West London. Liverpool have a game in hand over injury-hit Arsenal, whose title challenge faltered once more at the Emirates. Dear viewers, this brings us to the end of this English News Bulletin. Came to you out of Nile TV International and Channel 2. This is Reem Tamer, and thank you for watching.